the chef at a Thai restaurant.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, she made some good shit.
Dude, Thai, salute to the Thai. Their food rocks.
Mm-hmm.
That shit fucking rock and roll.
Makes me want to tie off the base of my cock and fuck.
Yep.
Fuck
a child.
Yes.
Thailand style.
Yeah.
Eldest had some guy in his office was just the most closeted man of all time, and he would routinely go to Thailand by himself.
I just love it. There's something about the people there.
Just posting pictures to his Facebook. It's like, bro, you should be lying. Say you're going to fucking Poland. Just like, say you're somewhere else. You can't be a confirmed bachelor that loves Thailand.
That's so funny.
Respect, man. Yeah, go eat. Yeah, I'm probably gonna make some tuna steak and have some eggplant. And...
Tuna steak's good. What are you just buying tuna steak at the grocery store?
There's actually a really good fish market in Astoria.
Damn, I gotta start going to. There's fish markets in this neighborhood. I just gotta walk to them.
Yeah,
I might do that,
dude. Honestly, there's a great butcher and a great fish market on my block.
Yeah,
it's been nice, man. I wake up, I take like a 90-minute walk every day.
That's good.
And I just fucking hit the fish, hit something fresh, try and cook something up nice.
Yeah.
I've been marinating my tuna steak. Bro, a little 30-minute marinade on a tuna steak with some soy sauce, lime, garlic.
Yeah.
Maron.
What kind of marinade? Just lemon and...
Lemon, soy sauce, a little garlic.
Yeah.
You're fucking gold. And it only needs to be there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll just make a tuna steak.
Do that. Let me know.
All right. Yep. All right, folks. Hit the shirts if you want them. Come.town. Everything is now. Nothing will sell out anymore. Everything had like rolling stock that was like nice. There was things that had to sell out before they could be switched over to whatever system it is. But now everything is available. They will stay available. You can get shirts. Come.town. And we got new designs coming out. I got to redesign the store itself so it doesn't look so shitty. And then I got some new stuff.
Buy my man's fucking shirts. Tune into Stavi Solves Your Problems. The call-in show I do on Twitch. It's Friday at 6:00. This week's guest is Tim Dillon. We had Ian this week on it. It was a fucking great episode. I miss Ian. We gotta have Ian on this show actually.
Yeah.
He was fucking great. It was really funny. And yeah, I'm doing that shit on Twitch. And just look out for it. I also have it on YouTube, so take a look at the edited versions.
Well,
but that's it, folks. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Well, we're back, folks.
Hello.
And we're doing an extra Chinese episode.
Welcome to Canton. Nick, what do you think about the recent controversy?
Which recent controversy?
In Hong Kong. I'm talking about the mass protests.
Oh, I'm actually like pro PRC on that.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why, the extradition rules?
It's colonialist to support those Hong Kong protesters. No, I mean, seriously.
Well, wasn't... Okay, I mean, I didn't really mean to go into that, but...
Yeah. No, yeah, fuck those. First, and the media is not going to cover. There's plenty of people in Hong Kong that are on the side of the Chinese government.
Who, like that lady?
You can't tell them apart.
Yeah, I know.
I'm supposed to know which ones are which. That's why there's fighting happening.
Right.
If everyone there thought it was good or bad, there wouldn't be any fucking protests to have.
Exactly. It's like that scene with Agent Smith multiplying into more Agent Smiths, and then you can't tell who the original Agent Smith is, right?
Yeah.
That's what it... But they're all doing karate, and there's no Neo. They're just all Agent Smiths.
Yeah. Agent Smith.
How about Agent Smith?
I don't know. People send me tweets, and I'm back on Twitter now, and almost every tweet somebody sends to me, I click on it, and it says, you can't view this because you're blocked by this person. Like, man, I have no idea.
I'm blocked by a ton of people. I don't even know who they are.
I'm blocked by... I was like, sometimes it hurts.
Yeah.
There was a guy...
You had no interaction with them?
There was a guy that for like 6 months was like my guy on Jeopardy. I was like, fuck you. It's like somebody, like I clicked that and I'm blocked by him. And I'm like, but I rooted for you.
Arthur said some shit about you, bro.
Yeah.
He talked shit on the Jeopardy winners forums.
Yeah, fucking Alex from Jeopardy blocked me.
Not Trebek.
No, of course not. He's based.
He rocks, dude.
I'm
He's
in
black-pilled.
I'm pretty sure it's actually him. It's the username is N-word Groiper, but it's a picture of Alex Trebek.
Yeah, it's probably him.
I think it's him.
Yeah.
Because why, would the real Alex Trebek use his real picture, real name, and then be dropping N-bombs in group DMs?
Of course not.
Right. He would use N-word Groiper, so people are like, there's no way
The
this is...
scent, throw off the scent. Absolutely.
And he thought he was going to get, because, people doxed him. They were like, no, this is Alex Trebek. And he immediately fucking went to the media, and he's like, I have cancer.
Brilliant.
I have stage 4 pancreatic
Brilliant.
cancer.
So we all felt bad for him.
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, my God. And then, once the guy who was going to dox him died of a heroin overdose, luckily. He died of a heroin overdose like most white men.
Oh, my God.
That's our death row. That's our Omaha Beach is
the opioid crisis?
Opioids. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
I would love to start my own mini opioid crisis.
Yeah,
sounds nice.
Anyway, so then that guy died, and then Alex was like, "Guess who doesn't have cancer anymore?"
Did he go into remission?
Yeah, he doesn't have cancer anymore.
You can't survive stage 4.
He did. He survived.
Wait, did he say that?
Yeah. I think. I don't know.
Trebek, you got
I've been too busy learning everything about these Chinese protests. I've been filling my brain with every detail, and I have so much information.
Nick's been obsessed with the Chinese protests.
The Chinese government wants to put Hong Kongese people in prison.
Right.
For breaking Chinese-style rules.
That's unacceptable.
For basically, when you cross the border from Hong Kong into mainland China, you're supposed to take your shoes off. And so
no one is wearing shoes in the whole country.
For years, people were just leaving their shoes on.
That's rude.
As a matter of courtesy, it's like when I got that double parking ticket on alternate side street parking day.
That's bullshit too.
Most of the time, you don't get those, but they got me.
How'd they get you?
And you're better off just getting the fucking street sweeping ticket because that's $45, and the double parking ticket is $115, and that's kind of what's going on in China right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
People were going back into China, but they were leaving their shoes on.
That's right. I mean, I think that could totally be related to the SNL scandal recently, right? Is that Shane was pro PRC, and Lorne Michaels and the powers that be at NBC were pro Hong Kong.
The reporting on it's been fucked up because it's like they keep saying that Shane's talking about Chinatown. He's not. He's talking about Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He's talking about Taiwan, actually. Not to be more specific.
Which is a disputed territory, as we know.
Yeah. When he said let all the CHN words, the CH version of the N word, the Chinese N word.
The Chinese N word.
Is what?
I'm not going to say it.
We're not going to say it because apparently it's as bad as the N word.
And Nick and I are also both up for roles at SNL.
Right. It's I had no idea that if you said it's apparently it's as bad as the N word. Apparently, if you say that CH word, black people might beat you up.
They get mad about it too?
Well, isn't that what makes something as bad as the N word? If you take away the part where black people might beat me up, the N word's not that bad anymore. Then it's just a thing that hurts people's feelings.
Right.
I'm not really concerned about that.
If there's no threat of direct violence.
Yeah. Oh, no. What makes the N word bad is that I might get beaten up by black people. Oh, yeah. No, at no point was I concerned with hurting people's feelings.
Oh, not the historical legacy of slavery.
Yeah, I'm not.
How that word has been used.
I'm not. Look, my history goes back to... When did The Simpsons come out? 1989?
Yeah, 89.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to say?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, solidarity with our brother Shane. We actually wrote that bit for the Matt and Shane show.
Yeah.
We've been ghostwriting.
And you know what? And here's the thing. For everybody criticizing Matt and Shane, I scripted that entire episode personally in Chinese.
And they said they weren't sure about it.
And in traditional Chinese, and Matt and Shane sat down and learned Chinese.
And then translated it back into English.
Back into English. So think about that before you criticize these guys. That they spent the time to learn your dumb language.
Most people, I mean, it sounds funny. Can you just, I mean, like, our language sounds funny to Chinese people.
Yeah. I mean, if you
That's why people do the accent, because it sounds funny.
Just because I can't make this point on social media or whatever, and, like, because it's not even worth it fucking wading into this, but, like, what he says on the fucking show, because, like, it used to be, for a while, it was like, you know, when all this started, it started with that Lindy West article about the comedy has a dude bro problem.
Yeah, sure.
And the point of that article was that rape jokes are bad because they punch down. But there's a right way to do a rape joke. And she says, like Louis C.K.'s joke, which doesn't even by her own dumb fucking
It doesn't apply.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then there was an understanding for a while with all of this, up until now, that, like, there is a time and a place to say those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the Bill Maher thing was where it's like, you know, that one was kind of a gray area, but he got off for that. But even if you apply the, like, punching up and down rubric, if you can, there is a defense for what Shane said, because there's always people saying that's indefensible, it's just pure hatred. And it's like, no. What Matt says initially is talking about Chinatown. He's like, they just had some, like, fucked up building, and then Shane says,
that was close.
I called him Chang because to me he's Chinese.
Chang Gillis.
Yeah, Shane. Yeah, Shane says, yeah, and then somebody's like, why don't we just let all the boop in there, let them live in there, you know?
Yeah.
Which, if you, like, deconstruct the joke, he's speaking from the voice of, like, whatever social elements that are at play that relegate Chinese immigrants to shitty tenement housing.
Right.
So it's like, put all the, you know, whatever in it, put all the C8, fuck, I hate this. I don't even know how to, like, I don't want to say, because it feels like I don't want to make a point of saying it, because that's stupid, I don't fucking care
and
about
infantile,
that.
Yeah.
But let's call them Japs.
Okay.
Because there's not a good, Jap's great, because that's not, is it racist? I have no idea.
I think it's now seen as racist.
Damn.
But it's misapplied because it refers to Japanese
How about
people.
you're here, we'll call them Jews.
Let's call them Jews. I'm going to give you the pass on that one.
Right. So Shane says, put all the kikes in there.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, or should I say Jews?
You could say either, honestly. It doesn't offend me.
All right. Well, I don't know the way to go here. Because I feel like Jews doesn't hit hard enough.
Yeah, you could say kike.
The point is that it's not Shane calling the Chinese people kikes. It's the system.
It's the system.
He's speaking as
institutionalized.
Exactly.
Right. The local.
What is the actual line? What does he say? He goes, it's the institutions that societize. Yeah, goddamn. One of the funniest lines of all time.
It's so funny. So that and the
I was happy to see he started doing shirts too.
The Epstein shirt.
The Epstein shirt.
It looks like he sold a ton.
He fucking I'm sure he caked up off that. Good for him. And he handled the logistics too.
I know. He's a brother of the shirt game.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, like, whatever.
What the point is that, like, even if you want to use the punching up and down fucking metric to weigh whether what he said is okay or not, the specific instance of him saying Jews, Jews, yeah, whatever,
kikes,
whatever you want to put it. You say it. I'll start and then you say it.
Okay.
So he goes, yeah, let the
kikes
live there.
Yeah.
So that when he says that, but for Chinese people,
right?
You understand? He's speaking.
He's talking about whatever, like, you know, it's local government.
Literally no difference from when Mark Twain says the N-word.
Right, because it has literary merit.
It's not Mark Twain calling that guy the N-word.
That's the name.
He's speaking in the voice of the system.
Uh-huh.
You know. Now, the Andrew Yang thing.
Cormac McCarthy in Blood Meridian.
Yeah.
He says it the whole book.
The whole book.
And that was written, what, in the 80s?
Yeah. It's like, that's funny too. It's like woke people are supposed to be smart, and it's like, have you read any book ever?
It's like, every book has the
every single piece of literature I've ever read. Page 1 is like, it was a gay day, and there were a bunch of boop hanging out in front of them soda pop.
100%.
Look at the back cover, and it was written in 2003.
Yeah, and they won a Pulitzer or whatever they give books.
And then they started doing books where it's like a Hispanic guy that's like, how to beat your girlfriend.
I know that book.
The blood poured out of her nose like a beautiful rainbow that turned into butterflies.
Very descriptive.
Yeah, the magical realism of domestic abuse.
Yeah, most books do have that word.
Yeah.
And Shane, I think as an artist, he should be a protected class.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They were
wrong about MSG.
I don't know.
That's
they were dead wrong about MSG.
MSG is delicious.
That's the thing where it's like you have to get to know Matt better, and what makes Matt fun is that like he's just a guy. I do the same thing.
Foo Fighters, Best of You on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Alright? Carl's had a bad week, I'm going to say that straight away. He tries to rule out stress in his life, but he's had a bit too much stress this week, haven't you? One, a phone call from his mum, stressed him a little bit.
Right.
Something he said in the magazine about his auntie, came back to haunt him.
Auntie Nora?
Auntie Nora, yeah.
Don't name her.
Oh,
she knows who she is.
No. Okay, we won't name her. Right, we'll just say it's the one who farted for 5 minutes, and as he sort of saw a skirt when he was young, and I found it like a split tennis ball.
So it could be any of my aunties.
That coming up, and also a bloke in Times Online, Chris Campling, did a review of the show,
right,
and basically said that Carl Pilkington is a creation of Gervais and Merchant.
Well, if only that were the case.
He said. He started off saying he liked the show. He was excited. Said it was a good show. A lot of the.
I'm already questioning his critical faculties.
Yeah, exactly. And basically said that we didn't contribute much, or seemingly didn't seem to contribute much, and we couldn't sort of like ad lib or anything. We just laughed at, particularly me, laughed at Carl Pilkington, who was coming up with some quite funny stuff. Right? But then he does a twist on it. He goes, but the thing is, we're the puppet masters. He's a created person. We've created the persona Carl Pilkington for our own amusement.
Right.
He bases this on simply that we talked about... What was it we talked about? The Chinese not aging well, and you heard him talk about that on my DVD. But clearly I say, Carl, remember when you were talking about that? It's a news, or remember in the week, and so he thinks it's all scripted now. Imagine if this show was scripted.
I'd be ashamed.
Yeah.
If this show was scripted, I would send back the BAFTAs for the shows the actual shows we've written, and I would say...
I'm not having a go at Chris Campling. He's nice about our other work. He likes The Office, and he likes my stand-up and everything, and he likes the show, but he's saying... Because we're not spontaneous, we script this and invented Carl. So he's like, we've invented another Gareth.
If we had created Carl, I would not have squandered a character that good on this poxy radio station.
Absolutely. Also, does he know that we spend about 3 months on half an hour script? So how long does 2 hours of dribble? But the main thing is, as if this could be scripted, it's dreadful.
It's shocking.
Or maybe this is scripted.
Hang on, you've lost me now. Let me just check.
Maybe Chris Campling does not exist. Maybe I've made him up.
I don't know what to believe.
See, the name doesn't wash with me.
What was his name?
Chris Campling.
Sounds odd.
That's something that I made up.
Campling's almost like a joke. It's almost like a gay name, isn't it? Or is it Campling?
So I think this is scripted.
Yeah.
I think I've probably made this whole link up, and Carl is a creation. Campling, that's not a real name. I made it up. I should have come up with something better.
Yeah.
Sorry. Down to the River by Bruce Springsteen on XFM 104.9. So, that little fella in the Times thought Carl was just a puppet. We created him. He's an actor. What's his actor's name? Brent Hogwell. we got him from Spotlight. Brent Hogwell.
This stupid, dopey Mancunian accent, he just puts that on every week.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, he speaks rather like Hugh Grant.
Yeah, yeah.
And we just got this whole world around him. We set a whole... What do you think about that?
He had his head shaved.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, would he think that, you know, maybe if he's looked online and seen the ad, and he's noticed how round it is and that, does he think it's sort of been, you know, morphed into that shape just for the show, just for 2 hours on a Saturday?
Yeah. You spend 5 hours in prosthetic makeup like John Hurt in The Elephant Man.
Everything about him was made up.
Yeah.
We created him, we created... Oh, because I remember coming up with Auntie Nora.
Oh, yeah.
You said, Rick, we need another character. I said, what about giving him an Auntie Nora?
Doesn't sound convincing, I said.
Yeah, and you said, what is it about? I said, well, I don't know, she farted for 5 minutes and she's got a fanny like a split tennis ball.
No one's going to believe that.
Yeah. Oh, that brings us neatly... Well, let's put that to bed now. So, Chris Campling, honestly, we do not script this shambles of a show, and Carl Pilkington really is like this. If you want, you can meet him. I'd love to send Carl for a drink with Chris Campling. Can we do that? And then he'll eat his words. Chris, if you're listening, honestly, this isn't a stitch-up. As I say, I'm not having to go at you. It's a very well-written article. It's very, very fair.
You're just complimenting him on his grammar.
Yeah.
It's a very well-written article.
No, I'm saying we're not having to go because it's not like he snagged us off. I would just love him to meet Carl Pilkington. People in the street come up to me and say, is Carl like that? And I so want them to meet him.
Yeah.
Or maybe he can send in, if he's online, he can send in 5 subjects for Carl to talk about that we couldn't possibly know about, just so he knows that we just really do throw things at Carl, and that drivel comes out. Imagine if it was scripted. But anyway, so Chris Campling, or anyone who knows Chris online, get him to email us, and with 5 subjects that Carl can talk about. That's a good idea, isn't it, Carl?
It is like, I'm the Elephant Man, the way I'm being treated now. Just sort of like...
I scripted that. I wrote that joke last night.
Are you sure?
Was it yours?
I don't know.
Carl enters and says, I'm like the Elephant Man.
Hang on, let me just check the credits on the script.
I'll tell you what though, Steve, I found out about the Elephant Man. I was talking to Ricky.
What?
You know, the only bit that was normal on it.
Oh yeah, no, it was in the film. You know the bit in the film, I was watching it one day, it was on, and I said, look, your favourite film's on. And it came to the bit where he was being exhibited, and he was naked behind the screen to all the doctors. Go on, what did you say? And there's a bit where he goes, and strangely, the only thing that is normal are his genitals. They're untouched by this disease. They are totally normal. Right, what did you say?
It's a bit annoying, isn't it? It's like the only bit that you'd want as an elephant.
The only bit you'd want that was
like an elephant. Yeah, no, I can see
and he said, and he got the head. So other stressful things.
So anyway, what's the Auntie Nora thing? Sorry, Auntie X.
Auntie X.
What did she... Why is she upset?
Well, he mentioned her in Zoo. He did this thing for Zoo magazine, and he mentioned about when he looked up her dress,
by accident, remember?
I'm not suggesting you were going around looking up your elderly relatives' dresses in case they weren't wearing...
For people who've not heard Carl talk about this in the past, just explain quickly again what we're talking about.
Right.
He didn't want to talk about it at all.
When I was a kid, right, Auntie Nora used to come around. My auntie used to come around.
They're saying the ambiguity now. Yeah.
My auntie used to come around and stay, right? And I'm sat on the floor watching the telly, right? She sat on the sofa with a caftan on. I turned round, right, and it was there.
It was looking back
at me, right? And we've mentioned this, and Ricky sort of said, what did it look like? And, you know, a split tennis ball came to mind. That's what we talked about, right? So anyway, Zoo magazine, when they did the interview...
And she's the one that used to put a valance on everything, isn't it?
Well, not everything, obviously. So anyway, so I've done this...
So you did an interview in Zoo?
Yeah, and like they said, you know, again, it was like, you know, do you plan stuff and do you worry about stuff when, after you've done the show, you worried you've upset anyone? And, you know, I was saying, really, I forget people are listening. And, you know, we're just having a chat with mates and that. I said, but now and again, I do worry, when I'm on my way home from the show and that, and I'm thinking about what we've talked about. And I was saying, you know, the Auntie Nora incident.
Incident? Watergate.
And anyway, so this was in there, right? And I was saying in the magazine, you know, but I think I got away with it. She doesn't listen to the show, but, you know, I don't think she reads Zoo magazine, so...
She's more of a nuts woman. Sure, yeah.
So, anyway, so my mum called up the other week, right, and she goes, wish you wouldn't, you know, talk about Anthony Ola and that. And I was like, oh, so how do you know about that? She goes, well, one of your cousins have called us up and said they've read the article about it. So yeah, that's why we don't want to talk about it, really.
So he stitched you up.
So do you know what Auntie X has made of this? Do you know if she was upset or not?
Well, she doesn't know about it.
Because, I mean, maybe she's always thought it looked like a split tennis ball. Maybe you're just in sync, you know, because you're relatives and stuff. Maybe she knew instantly. Even if you hadn't named her, she'd have thought, hang on, I farted for 5 minutes once.
Yeah, that's not going to be ambiguous, is it? If you hear that, like, someone who farted for 5 minutes has got found like a split tennis ball, you're going to go, I wonder if he means me. Yeah. You're going to remember that.
Andy Jackie. It could be Andy Jackie.
Oh, God. And he got in trouble, you know, last week when he was going to the wedding?
Let's talk about that a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that a Cure?
I love it. In Between Days, XFM 104.9, today's too much from Carl Wilkins. The Cure, In Between Days on XFM. So, Carl, you were going to a wedding last week. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, it was last Saturday, right?
Yeah. And he said, looking forward to it. He went, no, it's going to be boring. Suzanne was listening, knows that the couple were taping the show, so she had to get in there before you, didn't she? She went up to him and said, look, when you're listening to the show and he says it's going to be boring, he didn't mean you, he meant weddings in general. I love the fact she has to run around and clean up after him. It's great, isn't it? How was it?
Do you not like weddings? You're not a fan of them?
They're only good for the people involved, aren't they?
What are you talking about? You're getting free food, free booze, free music?
Yeah, but... It's just all hanging about, and there's loads of people there you don't know.
Absolutely, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to make an effort.
Yeah.
And even the bit that was important, right, when they were getting married, right, there wasn't enough chairs, because it was, you know, all the family gets the chairs, don't they? So I was sort of stood at the back. Stood at the back of that watching, and I couldn't hear what was going on, because a woman was breastfeeding the baby.
Oh! But how loud was this baby? Because they were away, you couldn't hear what was going on.
So it was slurping and that, and she was like, I just thought, how hungry is it?
Could it not have waited? Because you all got to wait for the buffet or whatever later. I know.
But also just in this.
Well, there was two, wasn't there? Why didn't you wait?
The only thing that annoys me with weddings is the gift thing. Because, like, you buy these gifts, right, you spend a little bit of money, maybe, you know, I like to be a little bit lavish if I go to a wedding.
Oh.
Well, no, come on, you get a gift, right, you package it up. And I don't know about you, Rick, but I like to see the response. When I give a gift to someone, I want to see the feedback from that. Yeah, this is very much. You know,
I want to see what it is that's Jane bought them on you know, and exactly. Put my name to it. Yeah. Because sometimes I go, oh, thanks for the. I go, oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah.
But you know, certainly, I mean, we've talked about it before, but certainly, you know, it's the amount of money spent and the amount of time given to the gift should be correlated by the amount of the response you get.
Absolutely.
If I give a book token, a shrug is fine. But if I give, you know, a sizable, I want them to be showing it to friends. If it's a bar, I want them to show it to the barman.
You want to go, look what Steve Merchant got me. Yeah. He's the greatest man in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You go to a wedding, you turn up with a gift. You could have spent, you know, upwards of £15 on it. You turn up, you walk in, you say, excuse me, where's the bridegroom? I want to give him this gift. And some bloke, normally the brother-in-law, says, oh, no,
the brother-in-law's mate.
Yeah, sorry, they're too busy to see you right now. Just stick the gift on this big table with all the other ones.
Yeah.
And they'll get back to you
in a week.
It may be 6 to 8 weeks after the honeymoon. They maybe write you a note. They won't thank you personally. They'll write you a note.
It'll be a general thank you. It's your name in different type.
Yeah, but it might have some vague reference to, you know, to what you did, but it won't really be personalised.
Yeah. The set of mugs, again, will be in different type. Exactly. Thank you, Steve Merchant, for your wonderful gift. We love mugs. Yeah, yours.
Exactly. And a photocopied signature.
Exactly, yeah. It's not right, is it? Oh dear.
And also, of course, as well, if there's a baby involved, you know, perhaps they had a kid out of wedlock, and that's why they're getting married. There's normally a little baby signature as well. I hate that. Like the baby signed it. From Paul and Sharon and little Billy.
Be Ben these days.
Ben.
I reckon. What do you think, Carl? How was the wedding, by the way?
Did he like you?
Suzanne sorted something out.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Oh, actually, no, we're going away, having a week away with them.
Well, that's your gift.
Yeah.
What
We're going away. No, we're going away to Cornwall or something, and yeah, that's it. We've sort of paid for a place to stay and come along and that.
And their gift is to spend a week with you in a confined
I
space.
love it. They'll have a great time and that.
Will they?
Yeah, it's fine.
Can I get a pen? I'm making a note of how many times you say "and that" during today's show, and so far there's 3. I've noticed 3. I'm just going to make a note because I think we can have a competition here. If you can predict how many times he's going to say "and that," the closest one wins some of the crap DVDs that we've got on offer.
Hold on, tell me we've got Ladder 49.
Definitely.
Landed Ben Folds on XFM 104.9.
We've had an email, Rick, from Simon Whittaker. He says, he's throwing the question to Carl. Have you seen the video for that Ben Folds song where there's apparently a monkey working the sound desk and shifting the piano? So, yeah, you want to check that out. Talking of monkeys working the sound desk, we've also had a lot of emails directed at you. Yeah, a lot of emails directed at you, Carl, asking if you saw this programme that was on in the week. I think I didn't see it. I think
I know
The Strangest
Village in Britain.
Yeah.
Did he watch it? He called me 6 times during it. Called me 6 times every time.
Now, just explain briefly what this was, because I didn't see it.
Well, it was a sort of an experiment. I think I can work out from the sort of 70s. And it was sort of run by, from what I can make out, mainly sort of German Christians.
Right.
And what it was people with various disabilities, mental illnesses, Down syndrome, autism, bewildered, and they were living normally in the community. And there was 300 people in the village. Half had some sort of problem, mental problem or disability, and the other half were sort of carers. And I mean, it was very, very strange.
And where is this village? It's somewhere in this.
It's up near Whitby, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
But he called me. He called me at various points. You were watching that. It started off. He went, "Geez, if that's the beginning, what have they got coming up?" Then there was 2 fellas, and the phone rang, and it went, "What is going on?" And it was 2 blokes who had created their own language. Okay. And they were going, and it was an interesting programming. I love documentaries like that. But what made it twice as good was that I knew that Carl was getting confused.
Yeah.
There was one bloke that went round interviewing people, and he just have a string of questions, and you go, "Have you ever had curly hair? What's your favourite animal? Have you ever seen a badger?" And Carl was getting stressed.
It was stressing me out.
Because he was trying to think of the answers quickly enough.
Yeah, he was sort of saying, do you like mosaics and that? And I was like, oh dear. And the next question was coming in. It was like Mallet's mallet. That sort of that word association thing. I was stressing me out.
But he said he wanted to go there. He actually said, "Oh, could I go for a holiday there?" And I went, "Well, I doubt that. I don't know. Maybe you could go on a visit." That would be great, wouldn't it? For Carl to walk in there.
But the thing about it would be like, Carl would be the ruler. He'd be the king. It would be that, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I mean, he would just dominate.
I don't know. There was someone who were quite clever.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I think he'd probably be average.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd...
Okay,
No, I don't think he'd shine, because a lot of them were quite good at some things, weren't they? He didn't like the angry bloke who punched him. There was this really sort of sweet Down syndrome woman called Nan, and she hadn't hung her coat up, and this angry bloke was going, "If you don't hang your coat up, I will." And he punched her, didn't he? Yeah. And poor Nan got it in the neck from everyone. There was another woman bullying her, wasn't he? Yeah. But you like the little the little Down syndrome fellow with the woolly hat who was helping that woman.
If I went now, he's the one who had sort of hunt down and said, "Come on, let's go for a pint." So.
Sure.
But
incidentally, do you like mosaics? We didn't establish that. He's still thinking about it.
What was his name, that one? The woolly hat that you liked and you wanted to hang around with? What was his name? I can't remember. He was good. I liked him. He was nice, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's the one that fell over, then proposed marriage to that woman, didn't he?
Yeah. I remember I was on a. I don't know if this is alright to talk about. It happened, so, you know, not
What's this alright to talk about? Everything's alright to talk about.
But I was on the train, right, coming from Manchester back to London, right?
Yeah.
And got on it. It was like a Friday night, and it was heaving, you know, like the last train is and all that. And absolutely chocker. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the carriages, thinking, oh, is he in his seats anyway? Anyway, everyone's like, it's heaving, right? It's people stood up in the doorways, you can't get in the toilet and all that. There's not going to be any chair knocking about. So walking through, and anyway, I see this one empty chair sort of in front of me, right? I think, oh, why ain't anyone sat there? Right? I'll just rush to that, get myself a seat, plonk myself down, right? And sort of turn round, you know, see who I'm facing, you know, see who you're sort of having a chat with. Little fella there, right? Little, Down syndrome kid.
Right.
Sat there. And, he goes, alright. And I thought, oh, right. Not bad, but do you know what I mean? They're always talking, aren't they? You ask a lot of questions. Right, so I was like, oh, here we go, 2.5 hours. And I couldn't get up because the thing is, that's obvious.
Sure.
Right? So that's like mean. I'd never want to be mean, do you know what I mean?
No.
At the end of the day. So anyway, so I think, I know, I'll go to sleep.
Clever.
Right, so I shut my eyes, and he leaves me alone and that. So then, my phone goes, and I think, right, what do? Do I ignore it? Or do I open my eyes and see what it is? Anyway, I open my eyes, it's Ricky calling about something. About nothing, probably, actually thinking about it. It wasn't even worth answering, right? So anyway, I'm awake now, aren't I? So he's like, hello? And I'm like, alright, mate. And he says, you're muscly.
Oh, God!
And I said, yeah. And he goes, you know, why? So I said, no, just Dan. It's, again, stressing me out, because I'm thinking, why am I muscly? I don't go to the gym. And, you know, I'm not muscly, I'm in good shape. And that.
Well.
So then, he wants an arm wrestle. On a crammed train from Manchester, so I've got another hour and a half of this.
When you talk back, he'd soon have got up and left. If you started asking him questions, he'd have got up and left with the drivel you come out with.
So anyway, do you know when you're under pressure, you're thinking, well, he's said that I'm muscly, right? So do I do it or not? And there's people watching, you know, not joining in, not sort of having a laugh and that with me, just like watching but pretending they're not.
Oh,
and I'm
God.
at one of those table seats, and he kept saying, come on, I want to arm wrestle. So, and he was getting louder, and I thought, oh, I best just have an arm wrestle.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I best just have an arm wrestle. What do you mean?
Get it over and done with. I had to. If he's going to keep asking, I had another hour and a half on the train.
Oh, God.
So anyway.
Oh, my God. I'm thinking who won.
Well, were people putting bets on? How was it working?
It was stopped, and just as well, really.
Was it going?
No. He was winning. I was struggling a bit, right?
Yeah.
And he was really like, you know, taking my arm down. And then he sort of let go and started laughing. And I thought, thank God he let go, because I would have made, you know what I mean? If I lost that, everyone's in the train looking, and all the rest of it.
It's something serious to him. He's got to win this. Pilkington.
But then he just, then we were chatting about favourite food and that. He likes sausages. And I said, you know, he said, do you like sausages? I said, yeah, they're alright. I like a bit of Chinese and that as well. And he was saying, oh, I can't have Chinese. Not allowed Chinese.
Why?
Don't know. He just said, it's not allowed to have it. Right. But yeah, I had a good long chat about stuff and that. But
so you enjoyed it in the end?
In the end, it was all right. Yeah, it's just.
What do you? Okay.
No, but it's that thing, isn't it? It's always whenever you're faced with something different, it's always awkward, isn't it? And that's the thing.
You're talking about him now, or you?
And I think I did all right because everyone else was ignoring him, but I probably made his day pretty good.
Yeah. Nice bloke.
I like the idea that newlywed couple are probably thinking that's going to be a similar journey down to Cornwall.
Magic numbers. Forever lost. I was taken unawares because I opened that thing, what is it?
The confectionery?
Well, we were sort of doing it ironically, like people getting shameless plugs by giving us stuff, but then I opened it, and it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's all retro stuff. It's got a curly whirly, a fountain, sherbet fountain, I've just been eating a drumstick that I didn't quite finish in time.
It's got some of those little cola bottles. That's Hope and Greenwood and their confectionery, which are the one they had the perfect summer gift. Perhaps you've got to go to a wedding or barbecue party.
We've got some rubbish to give away now, haven't we?
We have indeed, yeah. If only we hadn't opened that, we could have thrown that in the mix.
But, no, it's too good to give away.
It's time for Rockbusters, the quiz that no one looks forward to. And we've got, as usual, the bunch of CDs, DVDs, I should say, which...
Just tell me we have got another copy of Ladder 49.
Ladder 49's right here. That's Brilliant. In the mix, yeah.
How many did they send you?
Joaquin Phoenix, John Travolta, Ladder 49, the movie that no one's seen.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who's seen it.
But is owned by every single XFM listener.
Exactly. Also in the mix, as I said before, we've got Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which, if you haven't seen that on telly, be very surprised. French and Saunders at the movie, the best of all the French and Saunders movie spoofs, which is, I think, on TV every single night.
Yeah. It's a very gay giveaway so far.
It's a very good weekend. Well, this
got Ladder 49, the people in uniform. You've got Queen of the Desert and French and Saunders. Well, the gays love them.
You know how much a fan of Chevy Chase. You know I love Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Well, we've also got here National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, which doesn't feature Chevy Chase. It was so bad, even Chevy wouldn't agree to be in it. So instead, Randy Quaid, who plays Cousin Eddie, it's him. Right. And on the back I notice it says special appearance by Eric Idle.
Brilliant.
I mean, let's be honest, if a film's got a special appearance by Eric Idle,
I know.
It's probably not classic, is what I'm saying.
Do you reckon they do Always Walk on the bright side of life?
Anyway, that's just some of the DVDs which you can win. And obviously the real reason you should enter is because you go forward to this big prize draw, which is in our last show, where you can win some actual quality.
Yeah, a signed Matt Groening drawing, and if you can see him drawing that on rickygervais.com, it's totally genuine. It's there, him actually drawing it in front of your very eyes. Also, us made us Flanimals, and a signed poster by Nigel Tufnell. Christopher Guest.
Sure.
So proper good prizes.
Yep.
Just that this is, I think it should be the last one to get into it. Maybe next week, the 4 that we've got get down to 2 maybe, and then we get them on the line in the last, what do you think?
Well, I'll be honest, I wish we'd thought it through. I don't know about you, but I wish we thought this
Chris Campling, if you've got any ideas how this show could have run, see, we should have scripted this.
What we said, we just said go in a draw, didn't we?
Did we? Yeah, we hadn't thought it through though.
Yeah, but we can't keep swapping and changing.
Well, we haven't done it yet. We can do what we want, yeah. You know how many BAFTAs we've won? We can do exactly what we want.
High five.
Well, let's get down to business then.
Right, so Rockbusters, let's explain briefly what this quiz is for those that have only just started listening to the show.
It's basically Blockbusters.
Well, you say that, Rick, but it's not, is it? I mean, that Blockbusters made sense.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Carl thinks it's a cryptic clue going right. A fella is walking along and oh look, there's the fish. What does that mean? Some
of them are hard because they've dug them all out.
Some are hard because they don't make sense.
No, but they've dug them all out because they're going to put them all on the website for people to play along with, and they came to me for the answers, and some of them are pretty tricky. I couldn't answer them. So
I love that. Anyway, the only man that can outwit himself.
Right then. So the first one then. Here we go. Why don't you borrow some land off Mr. Boardman or Mr. Laurel or Mr. Fletcher? Alright? Why don't you borrow a little bit of land?
Oh, it's changed already.
Already changed.
Already changed.
Mr. Boardman.
Well, no, they do it again and do it exactly the same each time. Do it again.
Why don't you borrow some land off Mr. Boardman or Mr. Laurel or Mr. Fletcher if you need a bit of it?
What's changing?
Okay, and what are the initials?
Right, LS. LS. That's a band or an artist. Who am I talking about? Second one. I'm gonna.
Sorry, he's got a sweet in his mouth.
I'm gonna annoy those seabirds over there. Right.
I'm going to annoy those seabirds over there.
Oh, just those seabirds. It doesn't matter where they are. I'm going to annoy them seabirds.
I don't know what he's talking about anymore, Steve. Honestly.
B is the initial.
I love the fact that he was fascinated by the strangest village in Britain, but the stories he told us about where he comes from, there's him going around with 2 fellas with big heads, webbed feet, a little pigeon-chested bloke, him on his grifter with Maggie pecking at him, his dad in the telephone box nicking groceries, and a horse in the house next door. I mean, how strange was his upbringing? And him hanging from his satchel. Unbelievable.
There's another woman who I remembered. Actually, I'll tell you later.
Go on, what?
I'll tell you later about another woman who I remembered.
What is this? Give us a teaser.
It's just a woman who rode around on a 3-wheeled bike with her husband in a basket. Right, I'll tell you about Right, and the final
you don't get teasers like that on the other radio station.
That's a hell of a funeral service.
Right, listen. Right, the final clue. What the Scouse fella said to the robber who he found in his house next to his vineyard.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What? Again?
Right, so what the Scouse fella said...
Right, this is going to be a pronunciation thing.
...to the robber he found in his house...
Oh, God, I've lost the will to live. I want to get in that woman's basket on the street. We'll just be driven around the rest of my life.
The initials are A.W. A.W. Who is it?
Right. Well,
email in and that.
Should we have also on the text 83XFM? You can win Christmas Vacation 2 and Ladder 49.
Yeah, what's that man? David Bowie, Watch That Man on XFM 104.9. Now, coming up, Steve, and listeners, I'm talking to them mainly. I'm not really, I'm talking to you and Carl really.
Yeah.
But coming up, an old feature, Knob News.
Oh, Knob News, the welcome return of Knob News.
Yeah, and Monkey News is still there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just briefly, you don't think you really gave that competition justice, did you, not handing out the email?
No, let's just quickly whiz through the questions again.
Yeah.
John's texted in, by the way. He says, I never get any of the Rockbusters clues. Is this a good or a bad thing? Definitely a good thing.
Definitely a good
Definitely
thing.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the people do.
Well,
First one. Why don't you borrow a bit of land off Mr. Boardman or Mr. Laurel or even Mr. Fletcher?
Right.
LS. Second one. I'm gonna annoy those seabirds. Right. B. And the last one. What the Scouse fella said to the robber he found in his house next to his vineyard. AW. If you know what they are, email in or text in.
Tell us about the woman. What's the text? Quick.
83936 on the text. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk on the email and that.
Right, and that.
I'll just make a note of that.
And that. Right, tell us about this woman.
Well, it was just because you were saying about the, our living.
We are broadcasting now, aren't we? This is actually going out. This is live. This isn't us sort of like...
Yeah, but you were just talking about how I lived in an odd village.
Yeah.
With kids with big heads and all that, right? And what I wanted to do...
What is that again? There's two kids with big heads.
Yeah, they just had sort of big heads and webbed hands and that. They went to my school. And when I spoke to my dad the other day, because I'm going to see my mum and dad tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, have we got any school photographs with the big-headed kids in? And he said, no, nobody bought those sort of school photos, because they were in it, so it was always a bit ruined. But I said,
No!
No, he said sales were, because he obviously talked to other dads and stuff like that, and he just said, no one bought them. But anyway, so...
I would love them!
Yeah.
I swear I'd buy them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't stand out, would I? If it's on the mantelpiece.
Yeah, well...
But anyway, so I was talking about,
When you say they had big heads, what do you mean? Do they look like someone from Doctor Who?
They were just quite big.
But they weren't related?
No.
So why did two blokes with big heads and webbed feet?
I lived in a weird area. There was a chemical plant close by.
I can't believe you've never told us that before. That explains a lot. Not just the freaks in your neighbourhood, but...
No, there was loads of weird stuff going on. There was this, like I said, there was this woman who used to live in one of the council flats, right? And she had a three-wheeled sort of big, what do you call
it? Three-wheeled son. He was the weirdest bloke we ever knew.
What do you call it? Like a big tricycle, but for an adult rather than one for a kid. It was a big one.
It wasn't a motorbike though. It was
no. It was a push bike thing.
Yeah.
And she used to sort of ride down the road with a fella sat in the basket on the back, with his legs dangling over. And they'd be going to the pub and what have you.
Was it a different fella each time, or the same one?
Yeah, little sort of balded fella.
So it was in collection for organs and things. Bring out your ill. And then people just throw Grandad just in the back and go, right, we're getting £4 for Grandad.
But she's
got a lovely pair of testicles on him. They're very low, but they're
bring out your dead or nearly dead.
She used to pick on her husband quite a lot. They'd be in the pub and what have you, and they'd be sat by themselves, but she'd always be sort of, having a go at him, moaning at him, sort of pushing her about and that. So my dad and his mate, right, they went round to their house, knocked on the door, she answered, and he said he was a copper, right, he said, you know, Detective Pilkington, going to come in and have a word.
So I'm just going to make a note of impersonating a police officer.
For the good, he went in and sort of said, now, I've heard, you know, you picking on your husband a lot. Yeah. We'll be keeping an eye on you. Do it again, and there'll be trouble. And she backed off after that. She was all right.
And that was the husband. Was he still in the basket, though? Was he allowed to ever sort of, like, ride up front with her? Or was he just always...
No, she'd sort of stopped picking on him in public places and stuff.
That's good.
Just you can't get done, can you, just for doing that?
I think impersonating a police officer...
Well, you probably did. There was no gain. I think you can't impersonate a police officer full stop, but I think they'd probably be lenient on him that he was... you know, but let's face it. You know, he's not going to be caught because why would anyone know? But it's not like his son's going to say it on a radio station, is it? And stitch him right up.
Is this something you did generally? Kind of a little bit of like vigilante work?
Just whatever. Him and his mate, just you know, if they saw something going on, they go, "What can we do? What little scam can we do, or something?"
That's fantastic. That is brilliant. Right. Okay. Coming up, Knob News
and Monkey News.
And the answers to Rockbusters. What a show. I'm not sure of what
Silence on XFM by Snoop Doggy Dogg and Justin Timberlake and a bunch of other people. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Sorry, I was just enjoying that Hope and Greenwood confectionery.
Lovely.
I wish I had something to wash that down with, Rick.
Will you have a glass of lovely... Ban Rock Station red wine.
Oh, lovely.
It's barbecue friendly.
Yeah, perfect.
Good. So just keep sending stuff in.
Free stuff, please. Free stuff.
Good stuff. Carl, what are we talking? What are we doing? I've got something to tell you, actually. You know we teased Steve about, not ever spending any money.
I'm careful with money, I'm not.
Yeah. Guess what? He's treating it like, he's nurturing this, right? He keeps running off, right? In the edit. He's having a suit made, and he wants to be just right, because I reckon he's forking out quite a lot. He's having a suit made. Think of that, him.
Let me tell you this, though. I don't want you thinking that I'm getting all flash with my cash. It's very hard to buy off the peg when you're 6'7". So, you know, it was a necessity. Carl, I don't want you thinking that this is the beginning of some new phase.
Well, is everything you buy sort of made to measure? Or?
No, I'm afraid if only I could afford it, mate. But, no, I'm off the peg generally, but...
So what, like, properly done and that, just...
Oh, yeah, it's the full thing. The full works. Got to keep going back for fittings, they got that little bit of chalk, you know, the pins.
That's where I had mine made, you know how good I look all the time.
Did you have to have that, thing done where they say, what side do you wear your member?
What side you dress? They don't say what side you wear your member. That would hardly be a euphemism, would it? So they say, what side you dress, sir? It means what side your little John Thomas leans, doesn't it, on rest, usually to the left, isn't it? Your little left testicles.
If I said to you now, what side do you wear? Do you know?
It would be left. It would be the left. That's what I mean. If standing there, right, with nothing restricting it or holding it in or holding it up, right, it sort of leans, your one ball is sort of like slightly back and lower, isn't it? And your little John Thomas rests there, so it's left. And the reason they ask it is so they don't put the tape measure up on the left and squash your willy or touch your willy.
So it's nothing to do with, like, well, you'll need a bit more room, of sort of more material on that side, or...
Well, no, I don't think they compensate. It's just when they put when they stick that up into your groin, they don't want to come in contact with your...
The thing is, I don't know what side I wear stuff on. I just sort of pull my pants up and wherever it wants to go that day.
But maybe it's not big enough to sort of make any, you know, real decision.
But, like now, I'm sat here, right, with my jeans on. I don't know where I am.
Well, that's clear for maybe you talk.
No, but what I mean is, if a fella said to me, what side are you, what side's your member on?
Member? What is this the use of the word member suddenly? Well, it's usually not appropriate, and also, I imagine in the old days they had big baggy pants and used to sort of like hang down, and now, you know, like with those stretchy boxers and briefs, it's sort of held up in a nice little, neat little parcel, isn't it? So it's probably not appropriate, it doesn't come in contact with your little snake. So, you know, did you ever, have you ever heard that, are you telling me a tailor has asked you that and you went, what do you mean, mate?
No, I've not really had one made to measure. I had one made when I was a kid, but since then I've sort of bought a suit off the hook. But when you were saying about buying a suit, I know that question sort of crops up, and I don't know what the answer is. It just annoys me the way I don't know, there's no surprises anymore. Do you know what I mean? People know.
What do you mean? He's going to go, right, I'm going to measure you now. Which side do I measure? Go, well, pot that, go and have a look. Like they go, oh, you got it.
No, but do you think there's no surprises anymore? What are you talking about?
Everything you say is a surprise. Everything you say, every opinion you have is a surprise to me.
What I mean is, why aren't people just happy just to go, well, depends, isn't it? I'll just pull the pants up wherever it wants to go, I'm happy.
What do you mean? Why is this such a big issue?
But Carl, when they ask you this question, they're not making a note of it somewhere. It's not statistical research to find out what the kind of common leaning is. It's a question so he doesn't touch it when he's using his tape measure.
Just be careful.
But he is being careful by asking the question.
But what's wrong with him touching it anyway? If he's, I mean, it's only like a slight.
Fair enough.
But if he just sort of, knocks it a little bit, you can just go.
Do that again?
To me, it's the same as the prostate thing. It's just happening all over again.
But the doctor doesn't go, what side's your arse on, sir? Trying to avoid the arse. He wants to go, he knows where your arse is, and he's aiming for it, and he wants to get it up there. He's aiming for it for a good cause. This little fella's going, well, I've got to measure his leg. I don't want to touch the knob. I'll just ask him, sir, do you mind telling me where your cock is so I can avoid it? It's a big difference.
But like I'm saying to you, I'd have to have a look first to let him know. I don't know where it is now. I don't know, it could be the left, could be the right.
Are you telling me you don't know where your knob is
without looking?
How would you mean without looking? How could...
Well, you're saying it as if like...
Should we have a guess?
Well, have a look and tell us where it is.
And what are you wearing? What sort of pants are you wearing?
I've got my jeans on.
But you've got pants on underneath them?
Yeah.
What are they, briefs or boxer shorts?
Boxer shorts.
Boxer shorts. Well, it's probably free, but the jeans are probably stricken it. I think it's probably either in the middle, dressed in, or just slightly to the left. Have a look. We'll tell the listeners after the break. Where's Carl's knob? It's a good competition.
Brilliant. We've got to send this to the Sony Awards people.
Run. Snow Patrol on XFM. Well, big question. Where was Carl's knob?
That's what people have been hanging on for.
Yeah. Where was it?
Well, I can't believe people have been texting in.
Hey, not guessing where it is.
People saying, is it in the middle? Is it in the left? It cost them 10p. Cost them 10p to find out. Just wait, I'm going to get out the answer. You don't win anything, right? Let's strike it lucky. Right,
bottom or middle? Right.
It was to the left.
Oh! Yeah.
I went with the right. That's annoying.
See, I thought it would be to the left. If not, maybe if it was all scrunched up, sitting down on your lap, right, it might just pop up to the middle. Just pop out, like, sort of.
Next week, we'll be finding out where yours is.
Where's Ricky's bollocks?
Right then, which leads us nicely into...
Knob news.
Oh, it's the welcome return of Knob news.
Right, okay, it's very much like the news at 10, this, isn't it? I do a bong, or in this case a schlong, and he gives me the headlines, the knob news of the day. Where have you connected all this knob news? Was there a lot of knob news this week?
It was mental this week. That stuff. The way it works, you give us the bong,
Yeah.
I'll give you the headline,
Okay.
Steve decides which stories we're going to talk about.
And now on XFM, knob news. Schlong.
Man grows knob on his arm.
Schlong.
Man gets doctors to make him a second knob.
Schlong.
Turkish prisoners made hole in cell wall to produce third inmate.
Schlong.
Doctors accidentally remove man's testicles.
So, well, can I straight away go for the accidental removal of the testicles?
Well, it's happened before, hasn't it? We've talked about that before.
What did he go in for a tonsillitis? What are they called? Tonsillectomy, and he went in the wrong way. What are you talking about? How can they accidentally remove his testicles?
It says he didn't look at his folder, and the doctor said to the fella, "Oh, we've removed your testicles, and we wanted to take out your prostate gland." So that's what happened. There's the story. This is what I mean. That's why I don't like going to the doctors. happens, doesn't it? Because all these sort of... it's when they say things like, oh, it's just, we do loads of these operations. That's when they're not concentrating.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? When they say it's procedure. That's like having a boring job that you do every day when you're not going to be concentrating. I prefer them to go, this is a tricky one, this.
I know what you mean. I sort of do know what you mean.
People, you watch TV programmes about, like, you know, removing someone's second head or whatever, and he's like the best surgeons from all over the world.
It's